A quick one before our live stream starts. If you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, we go live there every day trading the markets, covering world news, and talking through setups in real time. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next session.
Still doom scrolling? Brain rot taking over? You'll focus tomorrow, right? But what if tomorrow never comes? What if it all started with one small choice? The world won't wait for you. Opportunity is moving right now. One decision is all it takes to shift your momentum. Fuel your mind and watch possibilities open up. Small wins stack up, focus sharpens, growth begins. Everything changes the moment you focus. Lock in and make the switch today. Bring your ambition into focus. Trade with Switch Markets.
Are you still trading everything manually? More traders are moving to automation, running strategies 24/7, removing emotion, and staying consistent. Now with Switch Markets, you've got the tools to build and run your own automated trading systems, so your strategy delivers even when you're asleep.
Meet Switch Markets, a broker for ambitious people who want to trade the financial markets.
You mean that I can trade things like Forex, stocks, even gold with you?
Yes, you can even trade the coffee bean market with us.
What about digital currencies? Can I trade them too?
Absolutely. Maybe now's your time to get in.
Oh, and are you regulated?
Yes, we are.
And how easy is it to deposit and withdraw? Will you charge me any fees?
It's easy. Deposit and withdraw instantly. Nice and simple. And unlike that guy, we won't grab any fees from you.
Do you have a low spread trading account?
We certainly do. Pick from our zero commission or our low spreads account. It's up to you.
Okay then, what makes you so different from every other broker out there?
Our 5-star rated real human customer support and our perks package worth thousands. No other broker can beat it.
So, who did you say you were again?
Switch to success. Trade with Switch Markets.
Getting started in trading shouldn't be complicated. You can open an account, get set up, and be ready to go pretty quickly. Now, if you've been thinking about it, take a look. Click the link in the description below. You can even start with a free demo account.
In trading, like climbing, the hardest step is to pause, hold, and trust your position. Ambition pulls you forward. Focus keeps you steady. Together, they take you higher. Bring your ambition into focus. Switch Markets.
Already trading with another broker? Fair enough. But if you haven't looked around lately, you might be missing out. Now, Switch Markets is picking up awards, offering tools most brokers don't, and their support actually shows up. It might be time for you to switch to Switch Markets. Click the link in the description below to get started today.
Discipline starts before the first punch is thrown. Focus sharpens in silence. Repetition builds control. Every movement prepares you for the fight ahead. Trading isn't luck. It's preparation. It's grit. Your fight is won long before the bell even rings. Champions trade with Switch Markets. It's time to bring your ambition into focus.
Are you still with the same broker? Now, there are better options out there. There's more tools, better support, and a platform built for traders. It's time that you demand more from your broker. Take a look at Switch Markets. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Trading Room. I'm Shane Vernier, and this is SpaceX IPO Live. We covered really the preview, the lead up to this IPO earlier today, and we watched the underwriters and the transitioning firm and the stabilization agents, as they're being called, actually build the market for this SpaceX stock and get it up and running. Well, I mean, here's the quick and dirty of it. We opened at about 150. Imagine that, big round numbers. I know a guy that talks about big round numbers all the time. This is the biggest financial deal of all time. This is the biggest IPO launch in history, 1.7 trillion, over 2 trillion, depending on where we go ahead and close today. But that was what I always talk about. We talk about it over and over and over and over again. No need to reinvent the wheel. You'll notice that price didn't open at 137.98. It didn't open at 142.37. It didn't open at 129.82. It opened at 150. 150. If you don't learn anything else from any of these live streams that I'm on, big round numbers. Big round numbers. When somebody doesn't know what something's worth, the big round numbers always win. So all the institutions, all the debate, all the analysts, all the bankers, all the financial people, everybody culminated in 150. So I always laugh because welcome to the party, guys. The more things that get intricate, and we're in the age of AI and everybody's too smart for their own britches, 150. 150, 150, 150. Now, the real question is, what does the open market do right now? We're getting reports of an open retail float and opening retail demand of about 60 million shares. Not really a huge amount with respect to what we're looking at here with the entire float, which is up around, 555 million. And the actual, the aggregate float, is many, many, many times bigger than that, with the insiders holding just a tremendous number of shares. But this has been fascinating price action. This is a good look at the SpaceX SPCX. Welcome to the space age. Here we are in a new age of finance, and you see that. What's that bottom? Bottom's right there now. We open. We look at these same principles every single day, every single big release. What happens right here? We open. What's the open? Okay, open 150.05. Okay, 150.05. What do? Immediately, they sold off. They sold off down to 149.80 in the first minute. Tested the waters beneath 150. That was a complete pump fake. They were checking to see if the demand was there from 150. They were checking to see if the bidders were there. If the bidders weren't home, it was going to be an moment. I mean, people were going to really panic and run for the hills, but that sell-off right there did not occur. Bidders stepped in and said, we loved it at 150, we loved it at 149.80, and they just absolutely spiked price way up here to about 168.75, and that's when we saw it really develop on the news. Everybody's going crazy, going, this thing's going to the moon, and then reality started to set in and said, okay, now, well, not so fast. We're not going to 200. We're not going to 500 just yet. And there were some sellers. There was some profit taking right in here. There's no question about it. That would have been really tough for me to hold my water. If we were in there on the IPO price, the listing price of 135, and we spiked up to about 168. So what is that, about $28? 135. Let's do the quick math. 135 minus 168. That would have given us $33. $33 divided by 135 initial, 24%. If I'm in that thing for 100 million, 10, 20, 30, 40 million. If I'm in it for 100 million or 200 million, like some of these banks are, what am I going to do with a 24% profit in 7 or 8 minutes? That's enough to make your quarter look good. That's enough to make your year's balance sheet look good. So when we start talking about all the different ways that this is played, I mean, this is where the rubber hits the road. The institutions and retail, two very different goals. Investors, very different goals than traders. We're traders here. We're going to see exactly how this pans out. Now, you'll see I have orders down here. I want to buy the bottom of the range if possible. A lot of people don't believe that's possible today. It's possible. It's very possible. Nice big run up. There's the pullback. The question becomes, how high does this thing go? We're going to look at some projections here. We're going to look at some live odds. They've changed dramatically since we got started today, but I'm definitely going to be watching this chart closely. I do want to get you right on over to Switch Markets. You'll notice the Switch Markets CFD, SPCX.US. That right now is not necessarily up and live. Why? Because they're not trading actual shares. This is a CFD product. This is a derivative product, and in order for a derivative product to start tracking and actually reflect the action, it's going to take a little bit of time for the back office folks over at Switch to get this thing up and running. So a CFD, a lot different than shares. The shares are up. They're going to want to give this a little bit of time for the market really to stabilize, get your tracking errors knocked down, get this CFD set up and ready to roll. And each brokerage is different. Some brokerages may already have theirs up. Others may not get any up today at all. This one I've been told is going to be up today in relatively short order. The market realistically just opened, about 25 minutes ago or so for SpaceX. So I'm not really too surprised that there's been a bit of a delay there. So if you are looking to trade SpaceX, the CFD on switch markets, it's going to be up more than likely here, I would say, in the next hour or so, which gives you plenty of time to trade the close today, which is going to be a pivotal period for this stock. And then also next week is going to be fantastic. It's going to be fantastic action because once we get the close today, once we see the closing price, the big fireworks today, Monday, traders back to the table after 2 days of rest. They're going to do a little work over the weekend and say, okay, what do we really want to get out of this thing? What are we thinking about doing here? And that's exactly what I love about trading. Just because you're not in on the initial opening broad strokes, just because we weren't in last night with JP Morgan and Goldman & Sachs and the big dogs, doesn't mean we can't trade. So we're still here. We're still here trading. Right now, I love that bid down there, right above 150. I think that's good, probably for a $5 pop. We'll be watching that closely. A couple tales of caution, I would say. I'm going to give you some caution. Number one, if we do wash out that 150 level and we don't get a nice bounce, maybe a nice little swift trade right there, if we don't get that bounce, then we've got to be very careful because down in here, this is what I would call a thin chain. Now remember, the institutions got in right down here, right around 135. All right, that's where the institutions are. So the institutions have all this white meat to deal with, but these areas, these price points have not been traded. Now, that was the biggest thing I pointed out right there. When we traded beneath 150.05, when that market came down against the open and then really got some legs to the top side, big-time bullish signal. That meant that, yes, there's retail demand. Yes, there's demand there. And that reassured a lot of people that are holding SpaceX right now. But for me, this chain down in here has not been filled in yet. I have a feeling that if we trade beneath that 150 level, we could see some real carnage down there to 135. Now, do I believe that's going to happen? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, there really isn't any real reason to believe that. We're on a 1 minute chart. We've only been trading this thing for a half hour, 45 minutes, 26 minutes, something like that. So we got to be careful with not drawing conclusions, jumping to conclusions. Do I believe this market can come off? Yes. Do I think it will? I really don't know. I have no idea where this thing's going. Absolutely no idea. So when we don't know what's going on, let's do what the underwriters did. The underwriters picked a big round number, right? There's my quarter handle, 175. So how long do we trade between 150 and 175? Is this a value area for the intermediate term, long term? Potentially. I think that either side of this is going to be tested. Where are we right now? We're at 165. Opened at 150. That's up 15. We're 10 away from 175. That's the range. That's the range I'm looking at. Am I a net seller from 175? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I think you probably have a pretty good scalp from up there. But we're looking for value areas. We're looking for areas where everybody's going to come together, where the buyers and the sellers are going to duke it out. So that's exactly what's happening. It's unfolding right in front of us. If you're watching your charts right now and you've been following SpaceX today, you are witnessing history. That is almost, I believe, at the market valuation right now, it's a $2 trillion market cap. The company's worth $2 trillion, and Elon Musk is the world's first trillionaire, which that's a staggering sum of money. Or value. I guess it's not even money at that level, it's value. So watching SpaceX closely. I'm monitoring the switch market SpaceX. If this gets going while we're on our live stream, we'll darn sure see what we can do, throw a strategy on there and see if we can trade it. So that's exactly what's up right around for this minute. I'm going to go ahead and cover the odds of where we think this thing can close. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the green shoe option, which could bring more selling to the table. We got to talk green shoe. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the growth prospects of SpaceX. And then there's also 7 other IPOs. There were 7 big ones scheduled for 2026, and there's a few coming up that are going to be monsters. And today, believe it or not, is the litmus test. SpaceX was the canary in the coal mine to see exactly what the appetite is for cloud computing, to see what the appetite is for space, and what the appetite is for AI. We're going to dive into all that. Pretty much everything I've been listening to all day long. The financial world's doing backflips. We listened to the watch party. They were showing the watch party on TV. SpaceX launched a rocket this morning. They had the engineers in there that had been there for 25 years, and they are now officially multimillionaires. This company was supposed to fail, according to Elon Musk himself. Said it had a 10% chance to succeed. It was supposed to fail, and it made thousands of millionaires. And I got to tell you, I'm a sucker for that. I like success stories. I like to see people come up. I love to see folks that really stick with it through thick and thin, and they finally hit, and their ship finally comes in. I love to see that. I really do, because it's not going to happen for everybody, and it doesn't happen very often. That's the bottom line. So absolutely, to me, it's a happy day because I get to trade and it's active. I get to talk with you guys. But for those folks that were actually in that company, or some of the people that are going to be in that ecosystem, it really was a life changer. It was a life changer today. So hats off if you're watching out there and you have affiliations with SpaceX. Well done. Well done. Tip my cap to all of it. I think it was a fantastic spectacle of pure capitalism. If you believe in capitalism, capitalism is under fire these days. To me, it's all It's all I really know. It's all I've grown up with. So when I see this, it makes me smile a little bit. And the action. God, the action. If you don't get anything out of it, at least you get the action, right? All right, everybody. I got way behind on the live chat. Good to see everybody out there in YouTube land. I got way behind. T Marina, I missed the AM session on this. No worries. No worries, T. We covered it, broke it down for you. Had a feeling that it wasn't going to go live until about the mid-session, so I said, you know what? Let's set the table, set it up, and then we'll come back and we'll do a stream later on today, really showing the price action and dive into how to trade this thing. Let's see. In reference to the pre-stream Switch Markets ad, yes, I do hate my broker. Well, you can't hate your broker. Don't hate your broker. Just if you don't like your broker, don't do business with them. I tell you what, I have full disclosure. I've fired more than one broker, and I'm a nice guy, and I'm Mr. Smiley, right? I'm a nice guy. Boy, you start messing with my commissions and slippage. The slippage for me was the big thing. I could write a book on slippage. First 5 years of my career, I could write a book on slippage, and I realized that it wasn't just necessarily a function of the market. It was being done to me, and I got wise. Tuku, good to see you over in the How to Trade community. Thank you for coming back, Tuku. We're sort of doing a lot of live streaming today, that's for sure. Plakey, 2 a.m. down under. All right, thanks for joining me, Plakey. 2 a.m. on a Friday night. You're dedicated. Most folks are probably just stumbling out of the pub by now, but well done. I sure appreciate you being here. Thank you. T Marina. Hey, Shane, what is the name of that overlay you have going over each candlestick? The overlay. Each candlestick. Oh, at the bottom. It's going to be my volume numbers. If you're talking about this histogram down at the bottom, I actually have two histograms. Number one's the ADR, average daily range, or average directional range, whatever you want to call it. It should be periodic range. It should be an APR, average periodic range. But yeah, I got a 13-period ADR down there in my window. And then right here, I've got volume numbers, which for stocks are very important because that is exact. These are exchange traded. So let's see that minute right there at 12:15. 780,000 shares traded hands in 1 minute. That's just hot and heavy volume. That's fantastic. The rest of this stuff is just scribbles. That's me channeling my inner John Madden, if you know who that is. It's the Lord of the Telestrator. Gets in there and starts drawing squiggles. So those are my overlays. And then my indicators, of course, are my Bollinger Bands, my 13-period EMA. 13-period EMA, guys. 13-period EMA. And then there's your Bollinger Midpoint. A lot going on. Where do we even start? In any case, yeah, so T Marina, never mind. It's your Bollinger Bands. Yeah, Musk is, let me see, T Marina, Musk is the first publicly known trillionaire, but very well below the elite. You know what? I tend to agree with you. Guys like George Soros, guys like the Rothschilds, nobody even knows how much money they have. I don't even think they have money. I think they've carved up parts of the world. And that's not counting the People's Republic of China, right? Theoretically, everything in China is the communist governments. So what can you really say about their net worth? Hot Sauce, yo, what's up, Hot Sauce? Jason Maxon, good to see you. Jason, welcome. LC, it's finally started. Yeah, so here we go. This is what we're looking for, guys. I mean, here's the dump. I got a feeling we're going to go down and test the bottom of this range. It's not, believe me, it is not what the talking heads and the traders, not necessarily the traders, but what the talking heads want to see right now. They don't want to see this. They don't want to see a test of this level. This level right here is soft. You know, it's like it's like you're playing basketball against somebody that can't D up. Your defense is soft. It's soft. This area is spongy. It's soft. I don't mind taking a trade right above that, looking for maybe a quick 2 to 3, maybe a 1 or a 2 minute trade, looking to get in and out. I don't mind that, but taking a position from 150, not even remotely interested. Not even remotely interested. I think that if the bottom falls out of this thing, and it could right now. I mean, it's spongy down there around 150. That is not rock solid. That is not solid ground. Solid ground is down here. It's at 135. Remember that. 135 is where the Goldman Sachs of the world are dug in. That's where they got in. Then retail starts getting in here. More than likely, your allocations, the share allocations from your broker, you're probably getting in more along the lines of up here. Has the switch market CFD come on yet? Nope, not yet. Well, we'll see if it gets up and running. Honestly, guys, I can't control that. But maybe we get a chance to sell late in the day on a CFD. Maybe. Remember, the beauty of CFDs, that's why I would love to get this thing up and running so we could trade this thing in real time, is that we can go short. So not only are we looking to buy shares and appreciate maybe in an investment, we could also go short. And am I shorting 175s? Yeah, towards the end of the session, another 2 hours. Yeah, I would consider shorting 175s. I don't know that we go much higher than that. That's the number that's been stuck in my brain all morning long. I've been thinking, Shane, 150, we were pretty close. 150 was the open. 175. If we sell off beneath 150, this could be, I won't say a catastrophe because the company's worth so much, but it will be a big deal. So what do I want to do? I want to be able to trade that CFD. If it does come online here in the next several minutes, then we'll trade it. But as of right now, it's just not up and running. Okay, so we're printing 170, 165. We're going to run through a few things, few items here. I'll answer any questions that you may have. We're also going to take a look at a few other correlated markets and the NASDAQ 100. Interesting 30-minute chart. Do you think today was the day to play like an opening range breakout? Not a chance. Not a chance. With an IPO this big dropping on the NASDAQ, if you're trading the orb strategy, the opening range breakout, you don't want any part of that. Not on a day like today. Not on a day like today. SpaceX is sucking the collective air out of the room. It's all anybody's watching. All right, let's go around the horn here real quick. Google. I'm going to tell you why Google's up a little bit today, having a nice, not necessarily the best day in the world, but, well, I mean, it's up. It opened up, but now it's just sort of stagnating. Google all of a sudden has close ties to SpaceX. We're going to examine those in just a second. Tesla is part of that Elon Musk, what would you call it? The Elon Musk sort of, not hierarchy, but it's like a coaching tree. Like one head coach has a bunch of assistant coaches that go and they become head coaches. Well, this is sort of the Musk family of companies. It's Elon on the top, and then you've got, a little Tesla here. You got SpaceX here. You got a couple other ones, I guess, but those are the two that everybody's focused on. This is interesting. We've got that long-term monthly level. I love it. I mean, right now, we're coming off a little bit this month, off almost 10%. If we take a look at our daily price action, what's happening with Tesla? It's down. It's down a little bit. Why do you think that is? I would say it's reallocation. It's investors allocating their funds towards SpaceX, saying, okay, I got a bunch over here in Tesla. Let's shovel a little bit of our holdings over and just sort of make the Musk play, the Musk effect, trying to bet on what is perceived as one of, well, I mean, if you're counting but in terms of dollars, he's probably going to go down as the greatest entrepreneur of all time. I mean, there's no question about it. He's a trillionaire. And in that space, in that business space, they keep score with dollars and cents. I mean, I keep waiting for Trump to make an announcement. I mean, where is it? Trump's going to do something. I think it's going to be a peace deal announcement or something later today. We've already seen scuttlebutt of that. I might touch on the Iran war before we sign off, but I don't know that there's any reason. This is a huge story. This line in the sand down here is one that I love. We're going to be looking at this Tesla buy potentially down around 360, maybe 375. If we get that in the coming weeks, I think that's a fantastic play. I really do. Tesla's not going anywhere. They're not going to lead in terms of robotics. Robotics, they're having real problems competing with the Chinese, but those electric cars, huge market share. So Tesla's not going anywhere. And the potential merger capability between maybe a SpaceX, maybe a Tesla, could lead these shares of stock anywhere. I would much rather be long Tesla than short, but I do want to get good trade location and a good entry. Maybe looking to buy like a 375 with a run up, maybe back up to 4.25. That's a pretty good trade. So take a look at that. SATs, what's happening with SATs? Remember, this is EcoStar Corporation. We looked at the satellite, big time satellite provider. We thought that this may benefit from the SpaceX launch, and it's not. It's just getting killed because why? Why? People are selling EcoStar and piling into SpaceX. I mean, clearly that's got to be part of what's happening. All of a sudden, the big dogs on the block. I mean, they're saying SpaceX is a real deal, and the institutions clearly. I mean, that's a 15% dump. I think a lot of people expected a bad day for EcoStar, but if you remember in the pre-market, this thing opened to the top side. I mean, we were sitting there looking at 130. I was like, wow, 130 EcoStar. Maybe there's going to be some sort of affiliation. SpaceX is taking satellites into space, maybe something like that. Ain't happening. Investors bailing out of EcoStar. They're putting their chips on SpaceX. And believe it or not, as human beings, we're very emotional. We get swept up in FOMO. What has really changed? Has anything changed for EcoStar? Not really. It's the same business that went on this massive tear over the last 18 months, but what do they have now? There's a new kid on the block. That's not necessarily a competitor, but somebody that's taking market share. Do I like EcoStar? I don't know anything about EcoStar. I know that it's in the same sector, and I know that this sector is going to be in vogue. SpaceX is going to be, money is going to come into this sector, no question. 62%, 96.86. That gives me a lot of confidence. Gives me a lot of confidence to the top side. So I want to see a deeper pullback here. I think that would be a pretty good one. Here's our other one. This was going to be my takeover candidate. This was Rocket Lab Corporation. This is a competitor if we're talking about rockets and Rocket Labs. I would throw this out there right now. Within a year, maybe within 18 months, potentially you're going to see SpaceX going on the prowl and start consolidating the industry. They've got a lot of smart financial people down there, and they're going to say, well, if we're going to build rockets, basically there's two ways. I heard this said on CNBC earlier today. There's two ways you can build rockets. Number one, you can invest a ton of time and a ton of capital into reusable rockets, ones that last longer, that are in it for the test of time, or you could build them like soda cans where you run them a few times and that's a wrap. Well, if you're going to be building a lot of rockets and you're talking about scalable progress, scalable being the key word here, you're going to need help building rockets, right? So anything you can do to streamline the process, whether it's buying components or buying manufacturing capabilities, that's exactly what something like a Rocket Lab may become attractive towards a SpaceX to buy. So something to think about there. We're always thinking about a lot of different angles to this. It truly is a new ecosystem and really a new economy. They're already talking about the space economy on the news. The space economy. Wow. Times are changing. Bank of America stock. We're looking in an interesting type of a dynamic because a lot of folks were buying Bank of America stock because they are well vested in SpaceX. They're on the ground floor, sort of like Sequoia Capital, except more in the public sphere. You're looking at Bank of America here, sort of having an interesting day. You're up 0.77%, but you'll notice that we're sort of fading from those euphoric highs that we saw earlier today up around 56.19, and now we're off about, 60 cents or so. Tremendous float, big company, been a blue chipper forever. So Bank of America, keep a close eye on that. That's one of those stocks that we're going to be watching because of its affiliation with SpaceX. Can an explosion with SpaceX to the top side drag the financials with it? Absolutely. Absolutely. How high does it have to go for that to happen? Probably a lot higher than it is now, but we're looking at 164.98 per share. Interesting stuff. All right, let's get back on over to MT5. MT5 is not loading up our SpaceX yet, so we're just in sort of a holding pattern there. I really want them to launch that soon, but believe me, they're going to launch it when they're good and ready, when the CFD and the product itself actually is functioning. So here we go. 1 minute chart, SPCX. Probably the most popular symbol. Probably people getting tattoos of this symbol today. But you can see right here, nice big run up. And now we're trading. And now this alligator's mouth is closing. And we've seemingly found an area of fair value right around 164.85. All right. So that's sort of a breakdown of where price is right now and a few of the other related stocks. Let's dive in to a couple of other things that we think is potentially going to happen here. All right. I've heard a lot about the green shoe. The green shoe in the context of SpaceX refers to a financial green shoe option utilized during the company's historic initial public offering. SpaceX priced its stock at $135. Okay, we're way past that. Here's the key. Underwriters included a 15% green shoe over allotment option, allowing them to sell an extra 83 million shares to meet immense market demand. So the term green shoe is a Wall Street slang and an interesting origin, specific mechanics. Essentially what this is if demand's hot enough, and if you do see this market really rally and take off big, that means demand's going to be hot and heavy. The underwriters have the option to dump another 15% of the total float on the market. So that's another 83 million shares. Now, potentially, this green shoe has sort of been rumored. When could it come into play for SpaceX? We're looking at 20% gains. They say if the stock rallies 20%, that's going to be viewed as a strong IPO and a potentially trigger this green shoe option. Now remember, the underwriters would love to write this. They would love to write this paper because they're going to make a fortune on it, right? 83 million shares. What could that potentially do to the stock price? If the green shoe is activated, be it today, be it tomorrow, maybe next week, what could it possibly do? It could possibly sink prices momentarily in the short term. If that demand is there, it would be shocking to see another 83 million shares hit the market and demand just snap it all up and drive prices higher immediately. It liable is to pull back. So there's a lot to this stock trading game. The green shoe option is something that a lot of people are watching right now, and I don't know what it equates to, but it was another 83 million shares, so you can do the math, 83 times whatever the 20% gain has to be. But they were saying it doesn't have to be 20%, but if it rallies enough to make the underwriters comfortable that they're not just going to dump another 83 million shares on the market and crash the stock, then they're going to do it. So the green shoe, if you see a big red candle, maybe we rally up to 175-ish. That's another reason why on a CFD I wouldn't mind going short up there, because if they hit this green shoe, dump 83 million on the market, 83 million shares, you're going to get a pullback. There's no question about it. Now, maybe they allocated, maybe they drip the 83 million out in small chunks or whatever to try to ensure an orderly market. But once that green shoe's been activated, the markets immediately are going to know. Traders are going to know. Investors are going to know. Institutions are going to know, okay, the green shoe started. So now they're increasing the float. They're going to put more shares on there and increase that float. And what that could potentially do is either stabilize prices at a current level or pull them back. So green shoe, get hip to it. Green shoe. I mean, these guys kill me. These Wall Street guys absolutely kill me. Let me see, Isaiah, when will SpaceX be trading on FX platforms? We're waiting, Isaiah. I mean, you can see right here, I'm still watching my MT5 closely. You'll notice that the CFD is not yet open for trade just right about now. The reason why is when you trade it on an FX platform, it's going to be a CFD product, which is a derivative, meaning that everything that you're going to be trading with the CFD is going to be based on the price action stemming from the underlying shares here of SpaceX. So when we're sitting here and I'm looking at this chart, I'm going, yeah, okay, 164.50, 165.80, whatever. The books, the FX brokers, I call them the books. The FX brokers, the guys that are running the books, the market makers, those folks are in charge of ensuring an orderly market in their own book. Now, if I'm a CFD broker and I don't know what the heck I'm doing, and I jump in and I say, okay, SpaceX CFD is for sale right now, and that thing's not dialed in, and it's not tracking the price perfectly, and my spreads aren't dialed in where they need to be, or maybe I have a supply and demand issue, maybe I don't know how much customer demand is going to come in, I could get in big trouble. Because all of a sudden, let's say everybody buys this CFD, right? And then it goes up, and they just cash out at a big profit. Well, I can't really let that happen because CFDs are derivatives. They're financial derivatives. They're not. You're not going to get a slip of paper that says you own a share. It's not going to be that way. It's going to be a derivative product. And the beauty of CFDs being derivatives is we can make money buying or selling. So that's sort of why I've outlined the top side of what I believe today's range could potentially be. I mean, if I knew it was going to 175 right now, I'd get on the phone to my stockbrokers and say, yeah, give me 50 grand right now and we're going to ride this wave to 75. I don't know that. I don't know that for sure. But what we could see is if price does kick up to 175, all of a sudden we're talking green shoe. All of a sudden, if I have a CFD product, I can sell that thing and really make a stack, maybe on a reversion back down to 165. As traders, that's the name of the game. It's not good enough for us to show up and just buy and hold. We're traders. We're not investors. We're traders. It's not good enough for us to buy and hold. We have to be more specific, more precise with what we're doing. That range right there, it looks to me like it's setting up to be the range. Now, there's a couple of things that can move the market. Number one's that green shoe. If they decide to exercise that option later today or maybe Monday or next week, then this price is going to be suspect. It's going to be sus. The other thing's the close. The other thing's the daily. There's two other market drivers that we have to look out for. Number one is going to be the daily close. We all know when that's coming. It's coming at 4 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. my time. It's going to be about 3.5 hours from now, roughly 3 hours, 20 minutes. Yeah, that's right. 3 hours, 20 minutes. Ahead of the close, you're going to see a lot of different things. You're going to see some profit taking. You may see, if you get a pullback and maybe we close on a low, you might see some bidders step up and play a swing trade for next week. We could definitely see that. That last 30 minutes of the session is going to be big. Last 15 minutes of the session, going to be big. So if you're trading this thing, be ready. Be ready for that volatility during the power hour, the last hour of the session. For this stock right here, it's probably going to get incredibly active the last 15 minutes of the day, last 10 minutes of the day. That's the first thing. The second thing is, do not discount the Trump factor. Do not discount the Trump factor. Trump he hasn't been in the media, hasn't been very active today. It's only 12:30 Eastern. It's only 12:40 Eastern. I expect a big-time tweet, maybe series of tweets, before we sign off or before he signs off for the day, alluding to something happening in Iran. We've already seen some scuttlebutt out of the White House. We haven't seen a big-time announcement. The one thing we know about Trump, love him or hate him, whatever you think of him, the man likes a spectacle, and he likes a show, and he likes to have top billing at all time. And right now, the Trump White House and the Iran war and all of it is taking a back seat. It's taken a back seat to this SpaceX IPO. I expect him to say something today, and it may be big. It may be really big. So be ready. Be ready. Just be ready. Those are the two things that I see. Right now, we've got a little bit of a break. We're starting working on a 1-minute breakout here, 167, 167.81. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of those FX brokers aren't listing that CFD just yet, because the market it's still a bit chaotic. I mean, look, we went very, very quiet, spike, and now we're sort of breaking above that upper Bollinger Band, and that could be definitely, it looks to me like we're on the road to 175. 175 is definitely going to be a big deal for me. All right, let's go ahead and talk about where this thing can land, what exactly we need to be talking about or thinking about as we roll toward the close. We don't really care about soccer, not just yet anyways. Closing share price, SpaceX. Do they even have these markets up, or did they crash? Okay, these markets are very, very big today. No question about it. This is Polymarket. SpaceX IPO closing share price. Now, what do we think it's going to be? Now, earlier today, it was about 56% that we were going to be between 150 and 200. Right now, it's about an 83% chance. I'm not so sure. I can tell you that, is it worth a 10-to-1 shot that we trade back beneath 150? 10-to-1 right now. I've got about 3 hours, 20 minutes left of trading. 10-to-1? Yeah, maybe. What do you put on it? It depends on how much money you have, but that's a 10-to-1 payoff, and all we have to see really is a late-day hard test of 150. It's not likely. It really isn't likely, but it could happen. It really could happen. So that's interesting to me. 150 to 200, that seems to be where this thing's going to land. 200 to 250, man, I would be shocked if we get up over 200, but if we take out 175, the next quarter handle is going to be 200. We will have made the jump from 150 to 175, and if we get a full-blown feeding frenzy towards the end of the session, maybe Trump announces a peace deal. Maybe they've got maybe the Strait of Hormuz is going to open, and that's going to free up the helium that's going to make all the chips that SpaceX needs. Who knows? But right now, the bell curve, the odds-on favorite definitely is 150 to 200. What I would say about that is it was a pretty decent guess earlier today, but I'm still on the fence, guys. I've never seen anything like this. That's why I'm excited. Typically, we fall into our lull. I've seen a million gold markets and a million crude oil markets. But when we start talking about something that's never happened, that's where the opportunity really arises. And this is a big one. There's going to be a couple more this year like this, but this is a big one. This is a biggie. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what other. There was one I wanted to look at with market cap. Okay, this is big. We already talked about that during the pre-market. I want to see. Okay, market cap by the end of the IPO month. Now, this is just a fancy way of saying, is the price going to rise or fall? Take a look at what we had. We had an initial offering. I believe it was 1.77 trillion was the market cap at 135. So we're thinking 1.5 to 2.0 trillion, 28%, 2.0 to 2.5. So we're really, the markets are telling us that you're either going to hold your value or gain by the end of June, which is about, 3 trading weeks away. So this is sort of a big assumption here. Could it go higher? Yeah. Of 2.5 trillion, I believe. What would that be? Somewhere right around 175 a share, maybe 200 a share. Down in here, those are interesting as well. 1.0 to 1.5. What if we trade down to 125? Very possible with this much action. So this is a good one. This market cap one's interesting as well. So our closing price, we're pretty much looking between 150 and 200. Right now, we're starting to stagnate right around 166. You can see market really slowed down. 1 minute chart. Can anybody tell me all right. Can anybody really tell me what this pattern is? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now remember, the true price of this thing is not that. It's 135. Okay, that's what they got it for. That's what the rich guys got it for last night. Anybody? It's an ascending wedge. Now you got to read between the lines here. Let's go down to a daily, show you what I mean on the daily. Look at the daily. What are we up? It's not really even telling us what we're up on the daily. But for right now, we're up significantly from that initial price. What do we got? We got an ascending wedge. What does that mean? It means we're going higher. It means we're going higher. Right in here, that's when I put this order down. I thought we had a real chance to check up and test 150. Now it looks like we're off to the races. That's for sure. Let me see, Team Marine. That's a flag. Absolutely. It's an ascending wedge and a flag, a pennant. Jason, absolutely right. It's a wedge. You guys are all right. A flag. I wouldn't say a flag so much, T, just because a flag, I like to think of a flag as sort of a rectangle, but you're not wrong. But it's definitely an ascending wedge. It's an ascending wedge. Jason Max and a pennant. I'll take bullish pennant there or an ascending wedge. A flag. I'll go ahead and give you a flag because it is going sideways. But it really, the ascending wedge is there. And let's see how the market behaves. To me, it looks like we're gonna bust. We're gonna bust and go to 175. I would love to get an order in here if this thing ever opens. Come on, guys. It's not open. All right, we'll monitor that. But the short up there, the short from 175 could be a very real thing. Very real thing. That's for sure. So, all right, a couple of things. We already talked about the green shoe. This is interesting. This is some interesting stuff on the news front. Google to pay SpaceX $920 million a month in cloud services. So one of the things that not too many people knew about SpaceX, I mean, I certainly didn't till the last few days, is it's number 4 in the world in cloud computing. All of a sudden, it has a major stake in the cloud computing space. So think of SpaceX as, sure, we're building spaceships and things, but what's it really about? It's about technology infrastructure. The idea is to start taking these elements of your I guess earthly. I mean, we have to start talking in these terms. I feel stupid saying it, but your earthly technology, the way that all of that's developed, that infrastructure, it looks like they're thinking about taking this stuff off world. Now, if you take it off world, maybe put it into orbit, building data centers. We talked a lot about that. If we build data centers in space, SpaceX is perfectly positioned for it. But they're also number 4 in cloud computing. So all of a sudden, you have cloud space for SpaceX. That's another huge, absolutely huge facet of their business. May end up being the straw that stirs the drink. It may not be, spaceships and whatnot. It may just be cloud computing. Well, you see right there, these deals were announced earlier this week. Google to pay SpaceX $920 million a month in cloud services deal. SpaceX to carry SEALS Q satellites for quantum-safe AI in orbit. That was just announced two hours ago. Do you think that's an accident? Let's go ahead and see what exactly is SEALS Q. SEALS Q Corp. What's happened to SEALS Q stock today? Not great. Down around 312, down about 3%, 2.66%. This would be what you would call not necessarily a penny stock, but a very, very low cap. All right, a mid-range stock. What are you looking at there? You're taking a look at that SEALS Q and go, okay, SEALS Q is mentioned in the same sense as SpaceX. Is SEALS Q going to get some bids at some point? Maybe. All of this stuff is the new ecosystem. It's the new economy. SpaceX to carry SEALS Q satellites for quantum-safe AI in orbit. SEALSQ scheduled first quantum. Look, they released this on IPO day, these news stories to try to get a pop on their stock. Didn't work, but you might get it Monday. You might get it Tuesday. So SEALSQ, you got to put that on the watch list, don't you? Elon Musk explains how SpaceX could build AI data centers in space. Now, that's really what it's all about. It's about figuring out a way to get the technological infrastructure of the planet off-world. And if you do that in space, you've only got a couple of players. Now, a couple other things I want to say about SpaceX and the prospects for the future before we sort of talk about what it could be worth potentially. The big thing that's going to constrain cloud computing and AI in general is energy. Musk knows this. The folks at SpaceX know this, from probably the base level engineers to the futurists, and I'm sure they've got a room of futurists that are sitting around trying to figure out where all this is going. Energy is the big question. Energy is the big question. Now, can you fuel these things with natural gas, these data centers with natural gas? Well, on Earth, you have to. You have to figure out a way to fuel them. Natural gas is a big one in the United States. They're going to rely on that to fuel these things until you get other technologies. But what else could you fuel them with? This has come into vogue here relatively. I just saw a news item on a local news over the last week. They're going to start testing this stuff in the IHL labs, Idaho something labs, over in the center of Idaho, which is about 3 hours away from where I am, about 2.5 hours over the Monida Pass, down in the basin near a place called Craters of the Moon. There's a town called Atomic City out there, and it's completely blocked off. You can't get anywhere near it. It basically is a government installation. And what they did out there in the old days is they were testing all sorts of nuclear technology, all sorts of technology that is classified and declassified. I don't know much of it, but I do know that there was definitely a military presence there and a private sector presence. And this is what they're going to be testing out there now. Portable nuclear reactors, often called microreactors, are compact factory-built fission systems capable of generating 1 megawatts to 20 megawatts of electricity. Designed to replace diesel generators in remote areas, military bases, and data centers, they are easily transportable via truck, air, rail, and require no on-site water for cooling. This type of technology, these micronuclear reactors, microreactors, this is big. This kind of stuff is big. This dovetails with this entire conversation we're having. So we're talking data centers, we're talking getting things in space. Now we're talking about micronuclear reactors. How long do you think it's going to be before SpaceX and these guys, they think they can do it with solar. They think they can power the data centers with solar until they could get the solar up and running online, perhaps. How long before you send a nuclear reactor into space? Maybe you send a micronuclear reactor in there to propel maybe space stations, have actual people living in space working on these data centers. It's all being floated. I've heard a lot of this stuff today, and I'm going, wow, this is next level stuff. Absolutely crazy. So all of this stuff figures into an ecosystem where the investors are going to be really have your pick. You're going to have your pick of companies. So what are we looking for? We're looking for energy companies right now. I mean, think about what just happened. They're worth $1.77 trillion. You just raised $75 billion in a day to build things. And in order to build tech, you're going to have energy. Energy is going to be a big part of it, and it's probably not going to be coal-fired. It's probably not going to be coal plants. It's probably not going to be oil, probably not natural gas. It's probably going to be something like a microreactor. So we're watching those, and I'll have a list of stocks for you. I got to do more research, but that potentially could be another big mover and shaker in this space. And you see right now, let's get back to our ascending wedge. Our ascending wedge is breaking out to the top side. 170. We're going to 175. I guess I should have called my broker and said, hey, get me in right now. We're going to 175, no question. The question now is 175. Is that the top of this range, or do we trade higher and we trade maybe spin up to 200? Very possible. Very, very, very possible. They've got to be thinking about the green shoe option right now. I mean, what are we up? Just from today's open at 150, we're trading 170. So we're up 20 divided by 150 is what, 13%? My guess is you got to print 175 or 180, and they'll start talking about the green shoe, no question. Is this a feeding frenzy, a buying frenzy? It's pretty significant. This market's up. This market's up, no question about it. Let me see. Hot sauce. No ETF for microreactors. Could happen. Hot sauce. Unfortunately, the microreactor companies are private, not publicly traded. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. We're going to talk about a couple IPOs that we're probably going to be covering in a big way later this year.
But right now we're just sort of in awe watching this thing explode to 175. I mean, the market is just absolutely taking off. Would have been really, I mean, the folks that bought down here on this initial test beneath 150 and got in there and bid this sucker, that was a good move. That was a damn good move. Here you go. 171, 172, 175. No question. Are we sellers from 175? On a CFD, I would love it. I would love it. Okay, you can see that the CFD broker switch looks like the back office is waiting for this thing to stabilize. Very surprised that they didn't have this up and running in here somewhere, but they're definitely monitoring their risk. They don't want to get sided on this, and I understand why. I mean, I get it. 172.50. Is that the top of this thing? Nope. 175, 175, 175. No question about it. Let me see. Babji, soon we will be sending men in black to outer space. We might already have them there. Musk, this may just be part of the disclosure project, right? They may just be saying, okay, now that SpaceX is public, we've got to tell them. We've got to tell the people what we've been working on for the last 25 years. Let me see. Oh, hey, look at Satoshi Nakamoto back in the chat today. All right. There you go. I'm the creator of the cryptocurrency king. Good for you, Satoshi. Fantastic, fantastic. Let me see. Chris Doty, if you have a Fidelity account with a minimum 2,000 balance, you were able to buy SPCX shares at 135 last night. I did. Damn right, Chris. Damn right. That's fantastic. And actually, that's good on Fidelity to let you guys get in on that. That's the kind of thing that you can really generates business and goodwill. So 2,000 balance, minimum 2,000. You got SPCX. Chris, what are you doing with it? Are you going to dump this thing? 170. I mean, I hate to let's tally up your money right now. So 135. Let's see, 135 to 170 is 35 divided by 135. You're looking at about a 25% pop. And let's say that you just put in your minimum 2,000. That's $518. You got $518. Do you take the money and run, or do you wait for more? Do you wait for more? Let me see. Isaiah, sincerely speaking, while SpaceX IPO got me confused, please, can you do some more clarification? Isaiah, it's okay to be confused. And one of the things that you have to think about when you're looking at an IPO, it's a deal. What it is it's a deal. It's me taking something to market and the market telling me what it's worth. And in order to take something of this size to the market, there's a lot of variables. It's not like we just show up and say, okay, I'm going to trade gold right now. Gold's trading 42.15. I'm going to go ahead and buy it or sell it. It's not that easy. There's a lot of things that factor into stock trading, a lot of things. And I wish I could sit here and tell you that I was an insider and that I know, and I've been on the phone talking to people on Wall Street to get the inside skinny. I'm not an insider, never have been. I am just like you guys. I mean, I've had a chance to work with some folks that did some pretty inside stuff. But as far as having inside connections or anything, I'm just like you. I'm watching my screens. I'm reading price action. We built an ascending wedge. It's working like a charm. So what I'm saying is don't get confused by this IPO stuff. Let it sit. Let this thing sit until it's really sort of easy and tame to trade. But if you're confused, it's okay. The process, let's put it this way. I was just listening to the Squawk Box a minute ago. They had the executives, they had the leadership, the managers, the board of SpaceX. The NASDAQ had them behind closed doors explaining to them how the auction process was going to work and how they were going to build this price and how their matching software was going to ensure efficient markets. The honchos at SpaceX didn't understand how this was going to work. So don't feel bad. Believe me, don't feel bad if you're confused. What we need to know is, do we buy or do we sell? That's what we need to know. For me, if you got in at 135 like Chris did, man, I'm jealous. I'm jelly. I mean, I wish I had about 10 or 15, 20 grand on that. That'd be fantastic. So as far as clarification, Isaiah, I think I've done about as much as I can with it. What we need to know right now is that it's going up and it will stabilize at some point. Is this the beginning of a huge capital appreciation cycle? Potentially. Is this the dawn of a new age in finance? Yes, it feels like it to me. It feels like it to me. I mean, it's easy to get swept up in the euphoric trading, and that's what we're seeing right now. Not surprising we're going to 175. That was the number. I said it in the pre-market. That's the number that's sort of been burnt in my head for a while now. And it's a simple number. It's a big round number. It looks to me like we're going there. Do we settle there? I don't know. But if you're confused, don't worry. I mean, everybody's confused. This is an unprecedented event. There's nothing. All we can really do is fall back on our technicals and use our smarts. And right now, I mean, the CFD traders, they don't even have this thing up. So we're doing the best we can. I figured it'd be up by now so we could trade it, but all right. All right, let me see. Packham. Hey, Packham, how you doing? Elon knows how to sell a dream. Reminds me of the cable TV era. Well, it's an interesting point. I mean, he's got people believing, and smart people believe in Elon Musk. They don't necessarily believe in space. They don't see how it could ever be profitable. I've heard some of those folks say, hey, listen, none of this is ever going to bear the fruit that they think it's going to bear. But he's got people believing in a dream. And essentially the whole concept of occupy Mars and, colonize the moon. And we are very close to having some serious international negotiations and legal battles over ownership rights to the moon. That's going to be a very real thing, and it's probably coming faster than we think. 5 years, maybe 10 years. That's nothing in the scheme of things. And the mankind, I mean, the dawn of mankind, where we sat around with rocks, building fires, and living outdoors for 10,000 years, and then the last couple of hundred or the last couple of thousand, things have sort of evolved. In the last 100, everything's speeding up at a huge rate. You can see that things are changing quickly. There's going to be an ownership fight over the moon. There will be. There's no way there can't be. And now we're going to have that conversation, and a lot of it has to do with Musk and his sort of initiative to get off world. He thinks that in order for the species to survive, the human beings species to survive, you're going to have to get off world. He views the world as being a finite resource. It's a finite timeline. Eventually things will break down and run out, and there won't be anywhere to live. And so his idea is, okay, we got to get off world. I think I heard him call Mars a fixer-upper, which is funny. That made me laugh. I said, come on, man. Those old alien movies, Aliens was a good one, where they had the atmosphere, the things, the big pieces of equipment that built the atmosphere on a sort of a barren planet. That's exactly what they're talking about right now. And people are putting pen to paper saying, can we do it? The data centers in space is just the first thing. That's just the first thing. From there, if technology has taught us anything, you're sitting there for 1,000 years trying to figure out how to start a fire, and then you start a fire, and then from there everything just goes like that. Technology grows exponentially. It's an exponential curve. It really is. Okay, so we're getting some resistance right up there. That sucks where our CFD wasn't working. We could have got that trade, 174.25. We're back down to 172. That's some good shorting right up there. That's some good stuff right in front of 175. I'm curious to see where we close. Is that the top of this thing? It's got a chance to be. It's got a chance. Pretty early in the day to say that that's the top, but it has a chance. All right, let me see. Chris Doty, I think they'll do the same thing with the other IPOs coming up this year. They said you can't sell for 15 days and they won't let you get in on the other pre-IPOs. Okay, I got you. So they won't let you just flip it. So you've got to buy and hold. It's not a bad move, though. I mean, in 15 days, who knows what they're going to announce tomorrow. There's one last market driver I haven't mentioned for SpaceX that's going to be a big one, but it depends on politics. So it's sort of a long discussion, but 171. Look at that. Look at 170 catching bids. 170 bidders right there at 170. 170.65 bidders are there. Going to 175, no question. Fidelity isn't my regular trading account, just employer 401k. All right, right on. But with that, you can add personal funds account and take advantage of this. Man, if you're grabbing the 135 float, the float that the insiders got last night, that's some good stuff. And you have so much room for error right now. Like, let's say you put in 10,000 at 135, you're probably not going to lose money on the deal in 15 days. I'd be surprised. And who knows? Maybe this thing might double in 15 days. We don't know. A couple announcements might help it do it. Atmosphere processor and aliens, 100%, Team Arena. That's what I was just saying. The atmosphere processor, where the aliens went in there, and the I guess what the mother alien laid all the eggs in there. and the Marines had to go in and try to figure out what happened to all the colonists. Yeah. The atmospheric processors. You know, there's folks that are drawing them up saying what has to happen for us to build an atmosphere. That's thinking next level, you know, and the younger generation, a lot of you out there that are working with AI that are thinking, you're thinking these things, you're going to be making it a reality. And I'm absolutely blown away by how fast all this has come on in the last, you know, I know SpaceX is a 25-year company, but really we haven't heard anything from them for last 5 years. They've broken on the scene, and that's a big deal. All right, a couple other things that we need to talk about here today. This one is sort of interesting. This is sort of what we're looking at for maybe the rest of this year. And this is going to be U.S. news, 7 best upcoming IPOs. This was written a while ago. So SpaceX is in the bag. They've shattered $1.75 trillion. OpenAI, that's going to be OpenAI and Anthropic. Those are going to be the big ones. Now, OpenAI, which is your ChatGPT, that has a reported 1 billion. They've hit the 1 billion user per month mark, which I don't even know what to say about that. I don't know if the numbers are even real. There's so much online that's fake. But the question is how do you monetize that type of thing? That usership, that customer base is so enormous. You're talking about getting 1 out of every 5 people, 1 out of every 7 people on the planet is referencing ChatGPT and OpenAI. So you're looking at OpenAI, you're looking at Anthropic. Those are the two that really jump off the page at me. Databricks is another one. That's going to be a big data platform. Big data is in vogue right now. Payword, I'm not familiar. Stripe, the Stripe payment system is a big one. That is really dominating a lot of what's happening online, especially when it comes to online payments. A lot of people view Stripe as sort of, what was the old one? Not PayPal, but what was the old one? I think it was NetTeller, something like NetTeller. In any case, they're saying Stripe is going to be the online payment platform. It really already is dominating the space. These IPOs are potentially going to be huge. The ones that everyone are watching, the ones that really SpaceX helped today are OpenAI and Anthropic. The AI revolution, the AI boom is here. Those two are going to go public this year. We will see what their valuations are. We'll see exactly how big the deal is. But it begs to reason, is SpaceX being the first one to the trough? Did they eat up the market share for these two big guys, or did they set the bar high and all of a sudden these estimates are going to go north? I'm interested to see what happens. Those are going to be fun too. I don't know that they're going to be this much fun though. The SpaceX, this is a lot of fun right here. But OpenAI, maybe. Anthropic, maybe. Those, I would just venture a guess. This is an old article. They hit the SpaceX valuation pretty good. OpenAI, I'll bet you OpenAI and Anthropic with the new revised up, depending on how SpaceX does here in this first week or so, I'll bet you those are revised up over $1 trillion. I'll bet you the initial IPOs, those valuations will be up over $1 trillion. I'll bet you. I think that's going to be a fascinating thing to watch. So definitely stay tuned for those. When it's time to do those, we'll do them. Okay, there's 175. Drawn blood at 175. Do we get a short? I would love to short this. Can I short it? I don't know if this platform will let me short it. Will it? Order. Sell it. Sell market right now. Sell it. Okay, we're short. Let's see what happens. Okay, pretty good idea, really. I wanted to buy down there at 150. Of course, we didn't get the pullback here. And now we're officially short. So we're holding shorts from 175. This is where things get touchy because we are fighting a pretty serious trend. We're 10,000 shares short from here. You can see the market sort of moving a little bit higher. What would I want to do here? Where would be a legitimate profit target? 172.50? I love 172.50. Let's go ahead and give that a run. Look at the compression, though. Look at the doji setting up right at 175. This is extremely, extremely bullish. Do we get an intermediate term top to set up at this level? I mean, if this isn't the top of today's range, guys, we're looking at 200. If this isn't the top, we've got to rip the Band-Aid off. I don't think we land at 187.50. I don't think we land at 194. I think you might get a shot at 200. And I mean, that's absolutely staggering. So we're starting to catch bids at 175. My short trade, I would say it's on life support. I don't particularly want to hang around here and take a massive draw, especially when we're only looking for about a couple bucks to the downside here, 250 to the downside. We should have probably already got it. This doji right here really worries me. Really worries me, especially if we're holding short. So let's go ahead and let this thing bleed out for a little bit. I mean, I'm more than happy to let it draw just a little bit against us. But as far as, what do we really need to have happen? This thing needs to base. This needs to base at 175. If it doesn't base, then we've got a problem. Then the market's going to really drive higher. Believe me, I would much rather be long from 135 right now. The question is does anybody step up and take profits at 175? There was a little bit of profit taking here, but your volume wasn't huge. Your volume was 309,000, which isn't much for a 1 minute. Okay, now there's our hammer formation, our inverted hammer. Now, if we get a close down there, inverted hammer, not bad at all. Let's go ahead and just wait and see how this plays out. Not really a hammer, not what I'm looking for. So 175 could potentially become a support zone, which is a kiss of death for us. What we got to see is we've got to see that's the line in the sand. You've got to see price trade back beneath that zone if you're holding shorts right now, or else it could get bloody really fast. And it's starting to do that. Now you're at 175.90, 175.86, somewhere up in there. We're looking at about 1:10 after 1 Eastern time, and there's the break. We've got to start thinking about the door. The door's got to be 177.50 on this trade. It's got to be. Can't let it draw above that. You got to risk a little bit on these trades, but the bottom line is this. That thing goes above 177.50, you're at 180. And then we start, the question is do we start really moving in $5 increments, $5 chunks? I mean, this stock is absolutely exploding to the top side, 177 to 176.29, 24. This right in here was what we were looking for. But when you're selling into a frenzy, what do you expect? This is when everything, I mean, it's all about management, risk management. So we're going right here at 177.58. That's the out. Essentially, we've got a little one-to-one built. Ignore my leverage. These are demo dollars. Demo dollars don't hurt when you lose them. Real money hurts when you lose them. But this one needs a little bit of time to bleed. We'll see if we get a reversal and a close beneath that 175 level. But right now, this is tenuous holding shorts. You've got to start seeing some profit taking here. If you don't see some profit taking, it's a big, big problem. Big problem, that's for sure. Let me see. Isaiah, where are you trading from? Dillon, Montana. I'm in the United States. So it's about 11:10 in the morning my time. Probably in the middle of the night where you are, maybe. I'm going to let this one simmer. I'm going to let it get out. We're going to get back to this, though, but it does not look good. It looks like 175 is going to be potentially downside support from here on in. SpaceX is not available yet on Switch Markets. Remember, if you want to get in on the action, head on over to Switch. Get in there and see what you can do. Okay, here we go. Here's some profit taking. All right. Finally. It's a real market. Okay, now we're back to 175. Now the question right now becomes, do bidders step up and defend this thing? Do they defend 175, or are we going to see a sell? Okay, now we're talking. Now we're cooking with Crisco. Now I'm feeling a little bit better. About this, but we've got to see some follow through. I mean, realistically, we're only looking for about 172.50, somewhere down in there. That is not much. We probably should be shooting for 170, maybe 168s. That's legitimate. Okay, so right now, that's the profit taking that we really are looking for. Somebody just dumped. They dumped a block of shares on the market right there at 175 because they wanted to win, and I absolutely don't blame them. So there's 10.8, 10.4, 11.1, 13.6. I mean, let's go. This is good for a cool 26 grand on 10,000 shares, which is quite a chunk of change. So what do you do right now? Have we weathered the worst of the storm, or is that the profit taking in the move? Is the top in? God only knows. I know we're up a few bucks on this trade. Do we take it off the market? Do we take the money right now? Is sustained selling going to be the order of the day from here on in? These are all questions you have to ask yourself if you're an active trader. Am I willing to take the risk to let this thing sit there when we're already got a pretty good trade going up about $1? Does it sell off? Do we get a chance at 172.30? Should we be shooting for something more like this? 170, maybe 170.50, something like that. Maybe. Let me see. Shazeel, when should we out? I can't tell you that, partner. I can't tell you that. If I was holding shorts right now, it's getting pretty good. I mean, we've sort of already, 172.33, I mean, that's what we want. I would say right now, you probably take the money. If you short at 75s, we took a little bit of pain up there. We had sort of a firm out at 177.50, but this right here, Now this is getting tasty. We should get 170. We really should get it. I mean, this thing's falling like a stone now. This is vintage profit taking. 170.82. Okay, see that? That'll happen to you over and over and over again. It'll hit you, won't fill you. I don't even play that. That's over. We rack that and take the money. If it hits your profit target and then reverses, get out. Take the money. Don't play with it. You don't want to be the guy that's sitting there waiting for that last pip and give up, I mean, that was 10,000 shares. Believe it or not, there's day traders out there doing that. That was a great trade. That was an absolute great trade. 175. Very, very good. We had to have patience, though. We absolutely had to have patience, and it did not look good up here. 160.76, but we had a firm out up above 177.50, so life was pretty good, and now we're starting to come potentially back down into our little what would you say, our little wedge. Okay, so what's happening now? Let's evaluate this in real time. What's happening? Key number. Are we wrong by saying 175 and 150? What's the midpoint of that? It's a pretty good range. That's a pretty darn good range. Let's go to a 30-minute chart. Where are our bids at? 166.37. Definitely fighting just a stiff uptrend. How about holding out for a hero? Maybe 160. That's the game. It's definitely an uptrend. Definitely an uptrend. That's for sure. All right, Sanjay. Good to see you, Sanjay. Welcome. We love first-timers. If you have any questions, be sure to ask. Shazil, when should we get out? I can't tell you that. I think that if you were short, you should have taken the money from 175. As far as if you're long, if you bought in at 135, depends on what you want to do. If you're an investor and you believe this is going to be a 5, 10x, maybe a 5 or a 10 or 15, $25,000 stock. I heard that floated today. If that's the case, maybe you just hold it. Maybe you put it in your piggy bank and hold it. Could be. Just depends on your goals. I can't really tell you where to get out. That was my trade. That was my trade. Let me see, Sanjay. I got IPO and it's my first IPO. Should I cash on 30% or just wait 14 days? I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you that, Sanjay. I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that. Adhere to your rules. Adhere to your rules. If your broker says you got to wait 15 days or you'll never get an IPO again, maybe you wait the 15 days. If you bet a bunch of money on it and you got a quick 30%, maybe you take the 30% and move on. That's up to you. That's up to you. Let me see, Isaiah. You mentioned in your last live session where we can reach out to you, sir. Please, can you mention again? I'd like to reach out. Yeah, I'll give you the link. I'm going to go ahead and drop this link in the YouTube chat. You can go ahead and send me a private message if you want. How to trade, go there, open a free account. It's absolutely free. And then from there, you just click on my picture and send me a message. Well, we got our trade. I'm pretty happy. I'm pleased as punch. We got 75. Sometimes you feel old and, can I still do it? Yeah, we can do it. We know how to trade. That's for sure. So from here, still an uptrend. I would love a deeper retracement later today, maybe buying 160s and going home with them. That would be great. You can see the heat is still definitely on 175. Do we spin higher? Do we spin higher? Very, very, very possible. Very possible. As far as what could we be looking at towards the close, your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea. All right, a couple of things that we need to talk about before. All right, here we go. Yeah, there's still. I'm watching for Trump headlines, potentially something that's said about the Iran war before the close today. I don't know if we're going to get it. The last thing I'm going to say about SpaceX today is we've sort of outlined the way forward and what can be. The Golden Dome that's been sort of proposed, the Trump administration wants to build over North America. a big player in that will be SpaceX. It will all be SpaceX technology. So the government contracts that could come into SpaceX's possession in the next several years could be absolutely immense. Absolutely immense. Wizard, good to see you, Wizard. You could see huge government contracts, and that could be essentially what SpaceX is betting on. If that's the case, then we could see a major appreciation in the stock price. But here's the other kicker, and I want everybody to remember this about SpaceX. No matter what they do infrastructure-wise and all these things, this is an Elon Musk company. And Elon Musk didn't make any friends from the Democrats, the Democratic side of the ledger. He didn't make any friends in the last election. He was a big Trump supporter. The platform X, when he bought Twitter and turned it into X, that ruffled a lot of feathers. Now, if the administration is to change over to a Democratic administration, don't expect those contracts to go SpaceX's way. Elon knows that. The investors know that. So SpaceX not only is going to be the collision of technology in really societal concerns, but it's going to be a collision of commerce and politics to a level we've never seen. You could potentially see SpaceX lose a bunch of contracts that they already have, just as the political scene changes. Now, a lot of folks don't believe that can happen. It can all the way happen. That can absolutely happen. So just because everybody in the world thinks this is a slam dunk right now, there are some things in there that do give a guy pause, saying, well, maybe this isn't going to be the next Facebook, or maybe this isn't going to be a Berkshire Hathaway. There's a lot of meat on the bone in a lot of ways. When we start looking out 5, 10, 15, 20 years, what can happen? Nobody knows. Nobody knows what can happen. I don't think anybody knows what can happen in the next 18 months. All right, everybody. Unfortunately, we didn't get an opportunity to trade this SpaceX CFD on Switch Markets. Keep a close eye on it, though. It should launch today. We were told that it was going to launch today. Maybe there's a glitch in the back, and you'd much rather see them take their time and figure this CFD out as opposed to rushing it out there and trying to get that going in short order. So SPCX.US, that's going to be your SpaceX CFD. It's going to be great trading next week as well. The volumes won't die down. They'll die down a little bit from today, but they're going to be hot and heavy on pretty much every release and everything we could possibly imagine facing SpaceX. So that essentially is what we're looking at. All right, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. We've done a lot of streaming today. Just one last price check on aisle 5, 172.90 there on SpaceX. Back down to our 1-minute chart. I love this range. This right here, that was one of those candles right there that made you doubt yourself. The quick break up over 175, and then we saw the profit taking. We should have seen that, and it was there. So, like I said, sometimes you feel like, man, have I lost it? And then finally these guys come in and they go, no, that's how the market should work. And it worked that way. So right now, the biggest range in SpaceX is going to be 175 to 150. That's going to be key. You're going to want to keep a close eye on that range, 175 to 150. That is the big key. As far as where could we close today? No idea. If I had to guess, 168. Put it on my chart for the close. Somewhere right around 168. Let's put it in red so I don't forget it. I think that's a moving average. Let's put it in there for red. That would be my guess for today. So you say, Shane, down or up from here? I think we could go up and wash out the highs and then maybe reverse down. But I'd be looking for something right around 168 just because I think that 175 is the top. 170 is going to have a lot of consolidation around it. I could see some late-day profit taking us to 168. I would be really surprised if this thing crashed down. If it crashes down to 150, then it was a pump and dump and the insiders started dumping at the end of the day. But this right here, this was a healthy pullback and nice profit taking. That's how markets are supposed to work. That's how they're supposed to function. We got in on it and did pretty well. Okay, everybody. Early morning for me. I was on the stick at about 4:50 this morning a.m. So it's about 11:23. I'm going to go ahead and kick off for the weekend. Go hit the gym, blow some steam off. Stay tuned for this SpaceX Probably the close. Remember, the close could be big. Be watching for some big-time action here in about 3 hours. No, not 3 hours, 2 hours. 2 hours from now, you'll see the action in this really pick up. And then also be on a White House watch. Take a look at Trump. Make sure that there's no big announcements out of the White House that suggest that maybe the war is over, maybe they start bombing, because that will affect all risk assets. Just even the algorithms, the automated algorithms will kick on as soon as they say something about the war. It's obvious that's what's happening. So for me, been a big day, fun day. I hope you guys enjoyed a lot of the coverage. We've live streamed for a couple hours today. It's always a lot of fun doing these. But pre-market was fun. I think we had some pretty good insights there. This as it happens, though, there's no substitute for price action. So we're going to go ahead and sign off. There's the final check, 172.75. That seems to be where we're trading right now with just a couple hours left to trade. All right, anybody, if you have any questions at all, be sure to head on over to howtotrade.com, open a free account, reach out. Send me a private message. I'm more than happy to get back to you. I get back to everybody. I answer every single one of them. And also, if you need to open a trading account and get in on the action, Switch Markets can have you up and running in about 5 minutes flat. So you're definitely going to want to get in on that potentially. I think next week's going to be a fantastic week of trade. We're going to be trading the SpaceX fallout. We're going to be trading gold. We're going to be looking at silver. Iran war, potentially a peace deal signed on Sunday in Switzerland. That's what they're saying. The beginnings, the opening strokes of a negotiation. They say it's a memorandum to negotiate. So that may be the big news over the weekend. But right now, SpaceX is just sucking the air out of the room and dominating every financial outlet you see, including us. So the NASDAQ 100 fared pretty well, up about 1% today, enjoying some of this SpaceX action. And the actual stock itself is just rocking and rolling. So I love action. I love it. It's a lot of fun. Makes me feel young again. So I always, that's why I trade, is for action. That's for sure. Well, action and money, but typically with the money comes the action. So there you go. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and sign off today. I'm going to hit the gym, get some rest this weekend, and charge up for next week. It's been a lot of fun, though, so I sure appreciate you all joining me. Like I said, you need anything at all, you know where to find me, howtotrade.com. Switch Markets on YouTube, great place to find all our new video content and specific questions. I love answering them, so be sure to send them out. And be ready for more SpaceX content in the coming weeks. I think we're going to have a pretty good ride with this one. It's going to be a lot of fun for the coming days and week. All right, have a fantastic trading session. Great weekend. And as always, trade the action well, and we'll talk soon. See you. Traders all over the world are already using Switch Markets. Thousands of traders just like you across multiple markets each and every day. If you haven't joined yet, you can open an account and begin trading in just a few minutes. Click the link in the description.
What am I doing? I told myself this year was going to be different. So many things I want to achieve, yet I'm here wasting my time doom scrolling. I was going to start running again. I was going to make more of an effort with my friends. I was going to work on my confidence. I was going to get fit again. I was going to start trading. Time to wake up and stop making excuses. Okay, Switch Markets, let's do this. When you're ready to trade, Switch Markets is waiting for you.